see which way the wind is blowing.
It's no surprise that Trump Jr. is a failure. And when I say failure, that bar is already pretty low.
Donald Trump Jr.'s on cocaine.
But did you know this? Trump didn't want to name his firstborn son Donald Trump Jr. after himself in case Don Jr. ended up being a loser. This according to a profile of Jr. published in GQ magazine. The article says, according to his first wife, Ivana, Donald Trump was never keen on bequeathing his name to anybody. It was Ivana who wanted to call their newborn Donald Jr. You can't do that, Trump is quoted as saying. What if he's a loser? So apparently Trump was right at least once in his life.
Jon Stewart wondered what Trump would say about our founding fathers.
John Hancock, he's a loser. Hey, what kind of a loser needs to put his name in giant letters on everything? Hey, what?
So Trump owns 300,000 shares of this company called Grab-A-Gun. And yeah, I'm not kidding, that's a name. And Jr. says he started it to combat woke liberals.
You know, pretty kind of cool to take a gun company public on the New York Stock Exchange. That's not something that I imagine many people would have envisioned a while ago.
He raised $179 million and owns 1% of this business. It debuted today, so Jr. was asked to ring the opening bell on Wall Street. The crowd started chanting, USA, USA, and as they did, the stock immediately dropped 20%. That's right.
This is the way that regular people are buying. Throughout the crime of the last few years that you've seen, women are now entering the gun market. The experience of going to your local gun shop, it may be fine for me. When I walk in, it's, hey, Don, how's it going? If you're a first-time gun buyer, if you're a female, if you're someone that's young, that's an uncomfortable experience in many cases. So Grab-A-Gun allows you to do that the way you'd buy everything else, like you would on Amazon if you're buying home decor or other goods.
And of course, people should be able to buy all the guns they want from Amazon. And when they arrive, if someone tries to steal it off your porch, you can pop a cap in their ass. Oops, that was my neighbor returning my weed whacker. Sorry.
That's strategic thinking.
Trump Jr. is exactly as advertised. A dim-witted speed bump that, with this guy for a dad, had zero chance for success. His only path was his father's grift.
Then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time.
And as you just heard, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Trump has never, and I repeat never, had a successful business that didn't entail ripping someone off or breaking the law. And when the banks turned him down repeatedly for loans, Eric Trump admitted they got all their funding from Russia.
I remember very clearly what he said. He said, no, we don't need American banks. We have all the funding we need out of Russia.
And then we fell in love.
How weird is that?
So much for the hoax, huh? And Jr.'s in charge of Trump Media, which too has failed spectacularly at every turn, losing billions in market share.
Let's be clear. Everyone's saying, oh my gosh, the stock has dropped so much. It has, but it is still worth billions of dollars. And this is a company, this is kind of the greatest con out there, right? You took Donald Trump's social media company that has no technology innovations. It has no interesting products. It is just Donald Trump super posting day in and day out. A couple of guys from The Apprentice said, hey, let's turn this into a company that we eventually go public with. And that's what they've done. At the end of the day, this company loses tens of millions of dollars. And the people who are truly in it, and this is what people should be concerned about, are potentially people who are trying to make unregulated donations, curry favors with a person who might be the next president of the United States. And that is serious cause for concern, because here's the issue. It's legal.
And of course, Daddy's tariffs gave Republicans a chance to sell before the tariffs were announced, which then caused the market to drop dramatically, so the sellers could buy back at reduced rates before Trump paused the tariffs, making the inside traders millionaires.
You know, given what the government's been doing and this administration's been doing, it would not shock me, and I hate to speculate, if we were to find out that a whole bunch of people who work in Washington as our elected leaders, one way or the other, ultimately sold stocks last week, or potentially worse than that, shorted the market.
I mean, graft and grift is all these fuckers know. So Jr., like his father, is failing as expected, which has to hurt. For all the talk about woke and deep state hoaxes, it's gotta hurt to know that you genuinely suck at the very things you desire so badly.
That, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax. With all of the different things that we had to go through, we've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
It's sitting on my desk right now.
But there's more bad news for Junior, and this time it's what he said and how it looks years after saying it. Donald Trump Jr. authentically tweeted this in July of 2023. Show us all the Epstein client lists now. Why would anybody protect those scumbags? Ask yourself this question daily, and the answer becomes very apparent. Wow, that's gotta hurt when your own fuck-up of a kid lays you out while MAGA splits in half, but that's what's happening.
And this is the first topic that all of us as Americans, not as Democrats, not as liberals, not as Republicans, are actually lining together and saying we all want the Epstein files.
While Junior's tweet hangs in the air, Daddy sees the writings on the cell wall, and it becomes more apparent every day that Trump and Epstein were more than weekend party buds. They were the lowest of the low. Epstein was arrested for child sex trafficking, and Trump flew on his jet and visited his island 7 times, where, according to 2 girls who witnessed it, said Trump raped a 13-year-old girl. Which, if it wasn't true, you would think Fat Daddy would want that Epstein list out there for all to see, you know, if he was innocent. But instead, Man Titties is calling the list a hoax.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats.
And of course, all of this makes Junior's tweet look even worse, which of course he deleted. But there are, however, numerous screenshots to back up its existence. Oh, and at the time Junior tweeted it, Biden was in the White House. Users also shared the tweet on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Threads, X, and YouTube. Snopes backed it up too. They said Trump truly did post this tweet on Twitter shortly before the platform's name changed to X, back in July of 2023. Junior's tweet also referenced a video mentioning the sentencing of Epstein associate and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, and it disappeared from Junior's X account back in July of 2025. Here's the tweet from 2 years ago, and here's the video of the young girl who was trafficked by Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and friends.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long the sex trafficking ring has been going on.
Trump Jr. is proof that no matter how corrupt and immoral a person can be, he can always go lower. And the only reason that his father doesn't employ his stupid more frequently is Jr. doesn't have his father's gift of grift and graft.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Donnie Wafflecock Sr. is a genius in his own perverse way, but his son is simply a misplaced sack of deformed cells without honor or morals. Hey, but whether he likes it or not, he got Daddy's name.
It's sitting on my desk right now.
Goddamn right.
It's sitting on my desk.
Do you have no shame?
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
TikTok.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donald.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.